Well, hello. This is day 2 of my policy fellowship, looking into what is the role of business in the transition to a global sustainable economy. Last night we had a high table at Pembroke, where an eminent economist told me the only sort of sustainable economy is a zero growth economy, which is impossible. So clearly that nature of that sustainable economy is something I'm going to have to look into and find the right people to speak to, what the latest thinking is. I'm here at the Department of Engineering, going to see a number of people with absolutely fascinating projects, and so I'll give you an update a little later. Hello again. Well, it's the lunchtime of my second day, and I thought I'd share with you 3 of the many insights that I had from my interviews. So first up, claiming it's possible doesn't mean that it really is possible, and one of the people I spoke to was particularly barbed about the current generation of gurus who claim that it's possible to just innovate our way out of it and not do the math on, well, how much of the UK's land area would we need to cover in solar panels for solar to be a viable option. A barb which was directed at Forum to some extent, but a good challenge, I think, and one that I'm wondering how to bring into my work. Second, a really very strong case for putting demand reduction at the heart of our approach, because if we can reduce the amount of material that's demanded in buildings, in cars, in our infrastructure, then we can reduce the amount of energy that is used, and the person involved has some really sensible and seeming to me big leverage points to pull. So particularly in the B2B space, so a lot of Forum's work has been B2C with brands, with companies that consumers know. Actually, a lot of the embedded energy is locked in further upstream, so is that a different sort of intervention point. And of course, collaborative consumption and business models at the consumer end would also be part of the reducing demand, but bigger leverage points might be upstream. And then finally, resilience. Resilience is something which came up yesterday, it's come up today as a different sort of way in and talking about what we need to do. And resilience is the ability to, or is preparing really, to bounce back better and to prepare for the inevitable crises that we're going to have. So in one way, this could be an enabling narrative, something that is politically acceptable, something that is a sort of valid tactic because it's what we can do. On the other hand, it might just be a cover for adapting and not trying to reduce the damage that happens. So lots to think about, and that's just the lunchtime of day 2. More later. Hello, it's the end of day 2, and I thought I'd give you my reflections on the conversations I had in the afternoon, really, which were the theme across all of them was about innovation and optimism and how much of that can achieve and possibly the limits to that. So I did get into a bit of an argument, first off with a techno-optimist who was saying, well, Malthus and Jevons and the Club of Rome and Paul Ehrlich and others had always predicted that we'll run out of stuff. We've never run out of stuff. We've always discovered more stuff, or we've innovated and our technology got around those previously thought limits. And really the argument there that I put to him was, well, those were all true where we had made transitions about costs, input costs, the costs of oil, or when that goes up, people go and look for more, they look for technology which can get more out of the ground. But that's not the problem we're facing today. We're facing a problem to do with the world can't cope with our waste. Climate change, the climate is changing because it cannot cope with our emissions. So we'll run out of climate before we run out of oil. And so if you're going to make that claim that because Malthus was wrong, we don't need to worry, you really need to show that the same conditions hold and that pricing is in place, which it isn't, I don't think. So anyway, that was the argument. And that's the limits to optimism. The other people I saw really had reinforced a couple of things about when innovation works and why it works, what you need to do. So one is to do with attitude, so being bold, being can-do, and really paying attention to your customers and your end users and what they value and matching with that and being flexible to that, especially if you're working in a developing world where people have little cash to spend, don't try to build something which is very expensive. So that was very interesting, and to hear that enthusiasm. And then the other thing is just how unlikely it is that incumbents will originate new breakthrough ideas, but they do have a role in scaling, while at the same time niche players originate new ideas but really struggle to scale. And so how important it is to have bridges between the niche and the existing regime, let's say, and the different sorts of ways that can be played out. So innovation, optimism, the benefits of it and the limits has been this afternoon's theme. I'm going to do some more reflecting, I'm going to do some more writing, and then I'll see you again tomorrow.